Hi everyone, welcome to Hatha Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua and welcome to our crew of pups here with Justin. Find a comfortable seat with your legs in front of you where you can turn open the thighs, some way that you can sit up tall. Maybe it means sitting up on a block or a pillow or a folded blanket. And whether or not you're crossing your legs, you could be extending the legs apart, whatever's comfortable for you. Root down to your left and right sitting bones. You might rock a little side to side and feel each side of your hips firm down. And then invite a lift up from the bottom of your spine all the way through the crown of your head. Roll the shoulders back and down. So I had an aha moment yesterday coming home from a work dinner, and it just reminded me of the ripple effect of when we work with unblocking one area of our lives. There is a ripple effect in which you're also inviting life to more freely flow into other areas of your life. If you think of the chakra system, for example, the root energy center at the base of the spine is associated psychologically with our feeling of safety and stability, feeling grounded. And if we can allow ourselves to feel safe in our bodies, in whatever situation that we're in, the community that we belong to, this planet, then it will inherently help to allow life to flow through the next energy centers, like the sacral energy center above it, around the area of the sacrum, which is associated psychologically with your ability to flow with ease, physically as well as through situations that change in life. Being able to embrace change with a sense of grace, being able to connect in relationships with a sense of authenticity and feeling safe within yourself. So as we work on opening one energy center through physical practice, through mental practice, and the thoughts that we adopt or the beliefs that we realize are no longer useful and let go, then inherently we're encouraging that life to keep flowing through other areas of our being and aspects of our life. To be even more specific, so I had an aversion to somebody that I realized, okay, from our first few times meeting, and I didn't really do anything about it. I just had this internal reactivity of, I want to keep my space from this person. It's not the kind of energy I want to associate with. And coming together, I decided to let go of that distance that I was creating and not give away unhealthy boundaries, but just allow myself to interact with a little more openness, a little more friendliness, instead of staying distant. And doing so, that other being reacted similarly. And coming home from that experience, I realized, wow, I was acting out of fear. And the fears were perpetuating beliefs of defensiveness. As Rumi, the poet, says, your task is not to seek for love, but to seek for the ways in which you create barriers to love. And that really felt like a physical, somatic release when I allowed myself to be more open, not necessarily unhealthy boundaries, letting go and not having boundaries, but just a little more open to be friendly in an authentic way for me. It created a sense of confidence in other areas of my life. I was able to associate with other things and situations more openly too. So with that being said, take a look at your physical practice today. Notice how the physical poses might induce certain reactivities within you, thoughts, emotions. And notice if you might have another angle of approaching such poses that might, for example, cause fear or anxiety, or just not so excited to do them. And see if you can open up in some way that you can experience the posture maybe differently. Maybe it's something you've done for a while. And see if that affects the way you breathe or how you flow in a different posture. Let's do it in the physical practice, and then let's take it into meditation. So resting a hand on your heart center and a hand on your lower belly. Begin to scan your physical body. Noticing what sensations are communicating how your body's feeling and what your body needs today in this practice. Sense the quality of the breath, just as it is. Tuning in how you feel energetically. Is there resistance anywhere, physically or energetically or mentally? Sense your mental and emotional state. And allow a deeper breath into your nose, out to your mouth, slowing it down a little more, and whispering it out. Now, clarified intention for your practice. Is there some area in your life that you would like to invite clarity to? A letting go of barriers or fear. And as you pinpoint your sankalpa or intention, choose somebody to offer this practice to. By making a dedication of your practice to someone or something else, it's a means of not attaching to a particular outcome. And together, let's join our voices chanting Om 3 times, honoring the silence after each. Inhale deeply. And let's begin to slow the breath down with the lips closed, creating a gentle whisper by softly narrowing the back of your throat, beginning the practice of Ujjayi Pranayama, which means victorious breathing. So listen to that sound a few times here, balancing it slowly in and out through the nose, tuning into that soft whisper and keeping it going through much of our physical yoga today. Let's make our way down to our backs, lying on the ground. And as you're lying here on the floor, wrap your right leg over your left leg with bent knees and open your arms wide like a T. Grounding your right shoulder, slide your pelvis towards the right edge of your mat. Lifting your feet, slowly drop your knees to the left. So making sure your right shoulder stays on the ground as you're twisting to the left. About 5 full breaths here. If you're needing a bit more release or stretch into your lower back, place your left hand on your right outer hip and gently press the right outer hip away from your torso towards the front edge of your mat. Deep inhale and long whispering exhale. And then come back to center. Switch the cross of your legs. Slide your pelvis towards the left edge of your mat. Keep your left shoulder rooted on the floor as you lift your feet and twist to your right side, breath by breath. If you're needing a little more juice in this twist, place your right palm on your left outer hip and gently press it towards the front edge of your mat. Slow and steady breaths. And now lifting your knees, uncross your legs and stack your knees right above your hips. Open both of your arms wide like a T still, and making sure to ground both shoulders. Draw your navel towards your spine. Take a deep breath here, flexing or pointing your feet as they stay together. Exhale, begin to twist to the right without dropping the legs and without lifting the left shoulder off the ground. We're gonna move to the breath. Inhale, raise your knees up to center. Exhale to the left, just hovering but not collapsing the legs. Inhale, center. We've got about 4 more on each side. You might opt to straighten the legs. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Keeping both shoulders on the ground. Exhale, twist. Inhale up. Exhale, twist. So you might have gathered that twisting is going to be part of our physical theme in this class today. Exhale, twist. Now inhale, center, straighten both legs to whatever degree is comfortable. Stack your ankles, knees, and hips. Bring your right hand behind your skull as you contract your belly, lifting the head and shoulders. Keep the head and shoulders lifted and twist to your right, bringing your left arm to the outside of your right thigh. You might use the mudra for vitality, which is pran mudra, like a peace sign out of your left hand. And as you breathe in, lower your right leg slowly to hover the heel off the floor about 3 inches. Stay in the twist, keep lifting the head and shoulders. Exhale, lift the right leg to meet the left. That's 5. Inhale, lower. Exhale, 4. Reach your left hand towards the upper right corner of the room. Inhale, lower. Exhale, 3. Inhale, lower. Feel the spiraling action in the middle of your torso. Exhale, 2. Inhale, lower. Exhale, 1. Lower the head and shoulders, keep the legs lifted, and now place the left hand behind your skull. Inhale here, contract your abdomen, and exhale, lift your head and shoulders and twist to your left. Extend your right arm to press against your outer left thigh, maybe taking pran mudra like a peace sign. Inhale, lower your left leg slowly, hover the heel about 3 inches off the floor. Exhale, up to meet the right, 5. Inhale, lower. Exhale, 4. Inhale, lower. Exhale, 3. Feel the twisting action at the middle of your torso. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Reach towards the upper left corner of the room. Inhale. And exhale, 1. Draw your bent knees together and start to rock and roll forward and back, where you can build enough momentum to stand in a forward fold right at the front of your mat. Reaching the hands behind you to clasp, or grabbing a strap to hold between the hands. See that your feet are at least hips width apart and parallel to each other. And bend your knees as much as you need to, just relax the neck. And as you're stretching the arms further away from your lower back, bend the elbows slightly and lift your shoulders away from your neck. You might straighten one leg and lean your torso to the outside of it as you bend the opposite knee generously. And then switch sides a few times. Give it another 3 breaths or so in Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Then land your fingertips either on blocks in front of you or the ground. Inhale, stretch your chest through your upper arms, creating a flat back. Firm your belly in. Exhale, hinge from your hips and fold over your legs. To the breath again. Inhale, press with your hands. Stretch the top of your head towards your front wall. Lengthen the sides of your neck. Exhale, bow over your legs. This time, firm down through your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms forward, rise to stand. Coil your chest up into a light back bend. As you exhale, bring your hands to meet at your heart. And let's pause for a few breaths in Padasana. Reignite the feeling of the intention that you're setting for your practice today. What's the energetic quality of that intention? Is it courage? Is it trust? Is it balance? Let it affect the way you're breathing as we flow through Sun Salutation C. Inhale, sweep your arms forward, coil your chest up. Exhale, bow over your legs, place your fingertips on the floor or blocks. Inhale, step your left knee behind you to a kneeling lunge and look up. Hold your breath, step into plank. As you exhale, first lower your knees, then your chest and chin, sticking your tailbone up. Inhale, slither your belly and legs to the floor, entering Cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes and lift your hips back, downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot beside your left thumb, lower your back knee, look up. Exhale, step your right foot forward and bow. Inhale, sweep your arms forward, coil your chest up at the top. Exhale, bring your palms together at your heart. One more time. Surya Namaskar C. Inhale, arms forward and up. Exhale, bow over your legs. Place the fingertips. Inhale, step the right knee back, look up. Hold your breath as you step to plank. Ashtangasana, exhale, lower knees, chest and chin, sticking the tailbone up. Inhale, Cobra, slide to the floor, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, downward dog, lift your hips back. Inhale, step the right foot beside your right thumb, lower your back knee, look up. Exhale, step your left foot forward and fold. Inhale, sweep your arms forward and coil your chest up. Exhale your hands together at your heart and let's start Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, circle the arms apart, join your palms at the top. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press into your blocks to the floor, lengthen forward, step into plank pose and exhale as you glide forward. Hug the elbows in, Chaturanga Dandasana. Lower to the ground or flip the toes here. Inhale to Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. So this downward dog, let's hold for a few breaths where you can move your body around if you need to loosen up. Like pedaling your feet slowly in place. Maybe swiveling the hips left and right. Maybe shaking and nodding your head and relaxing your neck. And most importantly, listening to your breath, re-steadying it. Now let's hold still in downward dog, taking another 2 breaths. Land your eyes on one spot. Listen to the end of the next exhale before you lightly jump or walk to the top of your mat into a forward fold. Once there, press into your blocks to the ground and inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle your arms, rise up, watch your palms touch. Exhale, trace your hands down the center of your body, mountain pose. One more round. Inhale, circle your arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. This time walk to plank or lightly float into Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog, press through spread fingers. Roll your triceps towards the earth, broaden the shoulder blades. And to the sound of your breath, leading. Inhale, raise your right leg behind you. Keep your hips leveled or squared. As you exhale, cross your right knee to tap your left outer upper arm. Come forward to plank pose, where the shoulders are right over the wrists. Inhale, raise the right leg, 3-legged dog. Exhale, hug the right knee outside the right upper arm. Shoulders over wrists. Last one, inhale, raise the right leg. This time through center, bend the knee towards your nose and pause. Lift the belly high, round the back like cat pose. Step the right foot beside your right thumb. Stay high on the ball of the left foot. Inhale, rise up to crescent lunge. So you might, for the first few breaths, bend your back knee to lengthen your tailbone downward. Lift your frontal hip bone slightly as you activate your lower belly. Bending your right knee just over the heel, scissor your right outer hip back. And as you press your inner left heel towards the back wall, you might begin to straighten the left leg. Turn the left outer hip forward. Last couple of breaths. Join your hands at your heart and spin the left heel down. Align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot. Then reopen your arms into Warrior Two. Land your eyes on one spot, staring just past your right hand. Now feel your body. Bend your right knee directly over the heel, maybe towards 90 degrees, and wrap your right outer hip slightly beneath your body, opening the knee towards the pinky toe. Firm the outside edge of your left foot into the ground. As you straighten your left leg, press the top of the left thigh bone back. Then center your spine between your feet by stacking your shoulders right above your hips. Virabhadrasana 2. Last 2 breaths. Triangle pose. Straighten your right leg. Glide your hips sideways towards the rear wall, reaching the right hand towards the front wall. Place your right hand on the right side of your right shin on the block or on the floor. And we're going to take the extended version of triangle, in which you rotate your left outer upper arm to face your left wall. Then sweep that arm overhead, just the amount where you don't begin to shrug the shoulders. In fact, release the shoulder blades down your back. Then find a little twist. Spiral your chest slightly towards the ceiling. As you lengthen the right underside of your torso, tack the crease of your right hip back towards your left outer foot. Firming the belly in. Utthita Trikonasana. Extended triangle pose. Last couple of breaths. Pressing down through both feet. Inhale, rise, back up. And then bring your hands to your hips. Step your left foot towards the front of your mat, maybe just 5 to 6 inches shorter stance. And then walk the left foot to the left and turn both of your hips evenly facing forward. With both legs straight, let's prepare for a revolved triangle. Use your right hand on your right hip to send the right hip slightly back so both hip bones continue to evenly face forward, grounding firmly through both feet. Inhale, stretch your spine forward parallel to the floor. Exhale, lower the left hand, maybe on the left side of the left ankle, maybe on a block. Or if you feel pretty stable and want to go deeper into the twist, left hand on the right side of the front foot. Keep tacking the right hip back as if you could balance a book across the lowest part of your lower back. Raising your right arm up, exhale as you twist, turning your chest little by little to face the right wall. Imagine your right ribs are trying to spin up to face the ceiling, and your left ribs are trying to face the right wall. Can you feel the full length across both arms, like one straight line? Lengthening the top of your head forward as it traces the midline of your mat. Hug your outer hips towards your midline so that rather than twisting at your pelvis, you're twisting at your waistline. Last 2 breaths in Parita Trikonasana. Stay in the twist and look at your right foot. Then lower your fingertips to frame it, hands on blocks of the ground. Inhale, lift your chest, firm in the belly and slide the shoulders back. Keep rooting down through both feet, and exhale, begin to hinge forward from your hips, keeping an open space at your throat. Parsvottanasana.
Giving your right hamstring some support here. Flex your right quadricep without locking the knee. 2 more breaths. Place your hands in the earth, step back, optional to lower through a vinyasa or to go straight to downward facing dog, you choose. Few breaths in downward dog. Notice what you feel here. As we move from pose to pose, we inevitably touch upon different energy centers and promote prana or life force energy to flow through them more freely. So what seems to be opening up for you? Downward facing dog. Keep your hips leveled. Inhale, raise your left leg back. Keep your shoulders leveled. Exhale, cross that knee to your right outer upper arm in plank. Inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale, hug the knee outside your left outer upper arm in plank. Inhale, raise your left leg back. Through center, exhale, bend the knee towards your nose, lift the navel like cat pose. Step the foot beside your left thumb, and in a high lunge, inhale, rise up to crescent pose. Again, you might bend your back knee at least the first few breaths to direct your tailbone downward as you lift your frontal hip bone slightly up, engaging your lower abdomen. Bend your front knee right on top of the heel and scissor your left outer hip slightly back. Press your inner right heel towards the back wall, maybe straightening the back leg, and turn your right outer hip forward. Last couple of breaths. Bring your hands at your heart and spin the right heel down. Align your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot. Then open your arms, warrior two. Right away, land your eyes with intention. Steady your gaze, your drishti. Bending your left knee right over the heel. Rotate your left sitting bone under your body. Firm the outer edge of your right foot deeply into the ground. And firm the top of your right thigh bone back towards you. Stack your 2 shoulders above your 2 hips and relax them down as you lift your crown. Virabhadrasana 2. Couple more breaths. Let's straighten the left leg for triangles. Sweep your hips towards the back of your mat. Reach your left hand towards the front wall and place it on the left side of your left calf, maybe on a block. Raising the right arm up, rotate the tricep to face the right wall, pinky finger towards the right wall. Then sweep the arm overhead for extended triangle pose. Send your shoulders away from your neck. Send your left hip crease back towards your outer right foot. And spiral your chest slightly to face the sky. So there's a little bit of a twist here in Utthita Trikonasana. About 3 more breaths. Firm down through both feet. And inhale, rise up. Bring your hands to your hips and shorten your stance about 5 to 6 inches less. Then step your right foot towards the right edge of your mat, turning both hips to face the front of your mat. Equally, legs straight, both feet on the ground. Keep your left hand on your left hip. Let's prepare for revolved triangle. Raise your right arm up, hug in the belly, and inhale, stretch your spine parallel to the floor. Keep your 2 hips leveled, so at your waist, exhale, twist to the left and lower your right hand. To start, maybe on the right side of your foot. Otherwise, to go further, on the left side of the foot, maybe on a block. Breathe in, stretch your spine down the center line of your mat. Draw the shoulders down your back. Breathe out, hug your hips still, and rotate your chest to face the left. Raise your left arm up. And just like that, breath by breath. See what's possible here as you continue to twist. Hatha Trikonasana. Stay in the twist, gaze down at your left foot. Then frame it with your hands on blocks of the floor. Inhale, lift your heart, firm in the belly. Exhale, begin to hinge forward from your hips. About 5 breaths in pyramid pose. Parsvattanasana. Engaging your left quadricep here, the front muscle of your left thigh, to support the back muscle of your left thigh, your hamstring. This time, inhale, look forward, and exhale, step the right foot to touch the left. Top of your mat, let's begin one flow continuously of sun salutation B. Let your knees come together. Inhale, sit low in chair pose. Exhale, bow from your hips. Press the ground or blocks. Inhale, stretch your spine forward. Walk to plank or float to chaturanga, slowly lowering. Taking your vinyasa through cobra or upward facing dog. Then to downward facing dog, lead with your breath. Inhale, sweep your right leg behind you. Keep your hips leveled. Exhale, bend the knee towards your nose and step the foot lightly beside your right thumb. Spin the back heel down and face forward. Inhale, rise to warrior one. Ride the exhale all the way down into your vinyasa. Tune into your breath pace. From downward dog, inhale, raise your left leg. Keeping your hips leveled, exhale, bend the knee towards your nose. Step the foot lightly beside your left thumb, drop your back heel. Inhale, rise, Virabhadrasana 1. Ride the exhale into your vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Let's pause for 3 breaths. Steadying your gaze. Bend your knees, empty your 3rd exhale before you walk or lightly jump to the top of your mat with feet touching. Then inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees together. Sink back towards your heels in chair. This time, stay in chair and lift your heels. Engage the belly in. Sink the hips a little lower, but lift your heels higher. Hips a little lower. Maybe the heels higher. Splay the thighs apart and plant your hands on the floor about a foot in front of your toes. Now you could come into a stretch here, which is like a hybrid of child's pose and a squat, or you can prepare to arm balance in crow or crane, where you plant your hands flat, hollow your belly, lift your hips, then hug your knees onto the outsides of your upper arms as you bend your elbows back like Chaturanga Dandasana. And by looking a few feet ahead of your fingertips on the floor, you help to shift your weight forward, maybe lifting your feet, bringing the feet together to touch. So if your elbows are bent here, that's Kakasana, crane. And if your elbows are straight, that's Bakasana, crow. And whenever you're done, whatever you're practicing, let's meet with the feet hips width apart, parallel in a forward fold. Bend your knees there any amount so that you could lift your toes and slip your palms face up under the soles of your feet. Stepping on your hands to stretch your outer wrists, Padahastasana. As you breathe in, shift your weight forward and lift your chest through the gates of your arms. Exhale, bend your elbows apart if possible and fold from your hips, dropping your head. One more time. Inhale, raise your heart forward, lengthening your neck. Exhale, bow in, and let's take a few breaths. Maybe shaking the head, maybe fluttering the lips, or taking some deep sighs. Then slipping your palms out from underneath, heel toe your feet together to touch again. And now completing that chair pose, bend your knees together, and this time, bring your hands to your hips. Keep your hips balanced in height as you turn open your right thigh at the hip. Flex your right foot and cross the ankle over your left thigh, creating a figure 4 shape. Send both of your hips back evenly and maybe lower. Stacking your left knee on top of your left ankle. Try not to have the knee in front of the left ankle. Activate your lower belly, maybe raise your arms. Maybe join your hands in prayer. Maybe lower your fingertips on blocks or the floor. About 3 more breaths. Now pressing down through your left foot, step your right foot to touch it, come back to chair and join your hands at your heart. Turning your chest to the right, let's enter revolved chair. You might choose to hook the left elbow outside your right thigh, but remember, we're not twisting from the hips, we're twisting at the waist. So to help do that, hack your left outer hip towards the rear of your mat and see that your knees are evenly facing forward. Then turn the chest to face the right wall. Parita Utkatasana. Last 2 breaths. Sinking your hips a little lower. Inhale, raise your arms in chair. Exhale, rise up. And let's pause for a few breaths, maybe resting the hands together at the heart. Feel into the quality of your breath here and help to take the reins of your attention by regulating your breath. As you feel that steadiness, bend your knees together, feet together. Inhale to chair pose. Place your hands on your hips and shift your weight onto your right foot. Rotate your left thigh externally or turn it out and flex the foot. Cross the ankle over your right thigh. Evenly as you can, draw your hips back and maybe further down. Take your time with the breath. Draw your navel in towards your spine to help you balance. Stacking your right knee above your right heel, you might raise your arms up or join your hands in prayer or place your fingertips on blocks or the ground. Let's listen to 3 more breaths here. Start to step the left foot to touch the right, entering chair pose. Join your hands at your heart there and exhale, twist to your left. Sinking your hips, lengthen your spine as you breathe in. Exhale, continue to twist. Maybe hook the right elbow outside your left thigh. Keeping your hips leveled, stabilizing your lower back. Tack your right outer hip back. See that your knees stay in one line. And as you breathe out, rotate left ribs towards the sky, right ribs towards the left wall. 2 more breaths in Parita Utkatasana. Sinking your hips lower, inhale through chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale again, rise up. Pause and breathe. Take notice of what's there to notice. Inhale, circle your arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Take a vinyasa on your own or some cat-cows. Linking movement to breath. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Slow in breath. Balancing out breath, all through the nose. Continue to sharpen your focus with that soft whispering sound. Come on down to your knees and let's sit down with the legs in front of you. We're not cooling off just yet. We're just preparing. So step your feet on the ground. Actually, let's start with the left leg straight on the floor. So we have some stages to play with. Turn out your right thigh from the hip and cross your right ankle over your left thigh like a figure four. So we did something similar standing in chair pose, right? Flex both of your feet. And then place your hands outside your hips and feel how tall you can sit up while relaxing the shoulders and breathing. Now, maybe this is plenty for you, or you sit up on a prop like a folded blanket to sit up a little taller. If naturally sitting up tall here is not much of a challenge, then you can start to bend the left knee so that right shin is closer to your chest. Keep sitting up tall. So whether your left leg is straight or your left knee is bent, place the left hand behind your pelvis on the ground. Raise your right arm up. Feel your two sitting bones evenly pressing downward. And as you breathe in, lift up your spine. Now engage your belly, and as you exhale, twist to your left. So notice as the pelvis stays rooted, you're not twisting the pelvis, you're turning the chest. Then use your right arm to press against the sole of your right foot. It might be the outside of your palm if your left leg is straight on the floor. It might be your right tricep. So we're in a seated twist with a hip opener. Now, if you're taking your right outer upper arm to the sole of your right foot, make sure that they're pressing against each other equally. That foot is flexing against the arm, that arm is pressing back. So these opposite forces help to create stability. You might choose to place the left hand with the right palm in prayer so that as you twist, the center of your chest meets your thumbs. Let's take another 2 breaths here. Sitting up a little taller as you breathe in, keeping the pelvis rooted, twisting as you breathe out. At the end of this exhale, unwind your spine and step both of your feet onto the ground. All right, second side, straighten your right leg first, turn out your left thigh and cross the ankle over your right thigh like a figure four. Flex both of your feet. Place your hands alongside your hips and breathe, lengthen your spine. And notice if this side of your hips feels differently. You might have a different variation on this side. So either keep your right leg straight or bend the right knee so the left shin is closer to your chest. Keep breathing and lengthening your spine as you ground both sitting bones. And place your right hand just behind your pelvis, raise your left arm up, lengthen through the spine, breathe in. Keep your 2 hips grounded and exhale, twist to the right, turning your rib cage without turning your pelvis. Now press the outside of your left hand or arm against your right leg or the sole of your left foot flexed. Feel those counter forces. Your left flexed foot is pressing against the arm and your left arm is pressing against the foot. This is going to be important in the next thing we do as well. Now, if you have your outer upper arm pressing the arch of the foot, you might even go a little bit higher onto the upper arm and start to bring your hands in prayer at your heart. Breathing in as you lengthen the spine, breathing out as you turn the chest. 2 more breaths. Curling your left toes back towards your left shin. Yes. At the end of this exhale, unwind your spine. And let's make our way up to the top of your mat. Feet together. Pause for a few breaths. Re-steady your breathing. So as we practice different parts of poses in different contexts, and then we can bring it into another context, it's like that ripple effect, right? When we establish a foundation, something similar, maybe something easier, we can tap into that reference point as we might add a little more challenge. So let's try what we just did, standing up. Bend your knees, come into chair pose, feet together, knees together. Join your hands at your heart. Steady your breath, steady your eyes. Take it 1 step at a time, and you only need to go as far as your body says it's okay. Turn open your right thigh at the hip. Flex your right foot and cross the ankle over your left thigh. Hey, we did this before. Sink your hips evenly back and down. Breathe. Maybe this is where you stay. Or place your left palm on the center of your lower back. Raise the right arm up, keep your two hips leveled. Breathe in, stretch the spine from your hips. Keep your legs still and exhale, twist to the left. Maybe you press the back of your right hand against the sole of your right flexed foot. Or you sink the hips lower and carry the right arm or upper arm into the sole of the right flexed foot. Perhaps you join the palms in prayer. Breathing here. Now some of you, if your right upper arm is pressing against the foot and there's some stability, you can start to place both hands on the floor against the left edge of your mat, like a twisting crow looking towards the left wall. Maybe start to lean forward towards the left wall, where you lift the left foot and extend the left leg towards the front of the room. Breathe. Coming out of it, come back to that figure four shaped chair. Breathe, and then rise up to stand. Hands together at your heart. Breathe. What's here now? Playing with the stages of potentially practicing the arm balance, grasshopper pose. As you re-steady and slow down your breathing, bring your feet together, knees together, and inhale into chair. Let it be a clean slate. Don't worry about what's next. Just be in each breath. Turn out your left thigh, cross the ankle over the right thigh, flexing the foot. Sink your hips back. Create stability before you go to the next step. If you feel stable to go further, right palm on the sacrum, left arm up. Draw the hips back, lengthen the spine forward. Inhale. Exhale, turn your chest to the right and press the back of your left hand against the left flexed foot. Maybe slide the left upper arm or another part of the arm. Maybe join the hands in prayer. Feel the flexed foot and the left arm pressing against each other, helping you to both deepen the twist and create a sense of stability, like you're closing the circuit. Steady the breath here, place the hands along the right edge of your mat. Fingertips facing the right wall, And then maybe you start to lean towards the right wall, bending the elbows towards the left wall, perhaps extending the right leg towards the front of the room. Grasshopper. Make your way back to the figure four shaped chair when you're ready. Pausing there as you breathe. Then step the left foot next to the right, standing tall. Close your eyes. What came up for you? In many of these arm balancing poses, fear is a common thing that can come up. Maybe it does or doesn't for you, but notice when you encounter it, any kind of reactivity you feel in the breath, the body, or thoughts. Can you be with that just as it is? And even smile at it like, I see you. Notice if that helps to dissolve any kind of resistance or blocks. Let's make our way down to hands and knees, all fours, or full plank, slowly coming down to our stomachs in Sphinx pose. Slide your forearms forward, lifting your chest. Then slide your knees as close together as you can. Cross your left forearm on the ground in front of your chest, and bend your right knee. Backstroke your right arm to open the front of the shoulder. Hold on to the big toe side of your right ankle or foot. Then have your knees no wider apart than hips width. Ground your two frontal hip bones. Turn your chest completely to face the front of your mat. And for another 5 slow breaths, bring your right heel slightly to the outside of your right hip. Lengthening your quadricep, you might also feel an opening in your hip flexors and your inner right shoulder. The end of this exhale, release the right leg. Come back to Sphinx with both forearms on the floor, where you can slide both knees closer together. Then cross your right forearm across your mat. Bend your left knee and backstroke your left arm. Catch the big toe side. Slide your knees no wider apart than hips width apart. press your 2 frontal hip bones into the ground. Then turning your chest completely to face forward for about 5 more breaths, bring your left heel slightly to the outside of your left hip. Relax the shoulders down. Relax your jaw and eyes. The end of this exhale, release, forehead to the floor, legs straight back, and let's prepare for 2 rounds of bow pose, resting for 3 breaths in between. Slide both knees close together, rest the forehead down. Then bend both knees and press your pubic bone into the ground as you catch your outer or inner feet. Kick your feet back as you pull them towards you, lifting your knees. Separate them no wider than hips width apart. Drop the shoulder blades, lift your chest, and look at the floor just ahead. Lengthen the back of your neck. Take it for 5 to 7 breaths, your count. And when you've let it go, you might make a pillow out of your forearms to rest your forehead on. Relax for 3 breaths. Maybe pigeon toe your feet to open across your sacrum. Last, Dhanurasana. Catch your inner or outer feet. Have your knees no wider than hips distance. Take it on your own for 5 to 10 breaths. This time, as you rest, you might windshield wiper your shins a few times by dropping them side to side, breathing into your belly, maybe cooling off by sighing through the mouth. And let's gently press up to sit with your legs out in front of you. We'll take 1 round of bridge pose or upward facing bow. So from sitting, step your feet apart, hips distance, parallel, with the option to hug a skinny width of a block right between your knees and thighs for lower back support. Then lying on your back, set up your feet by placing your arms down by your sides, sliding your heels back, just the amount where you could almost touch your heels with your fingertips, but not quite. Press the backs of your shoulders into the ground and tilt your chin slightly back. If you're coming into bridge, you'll lift the pelvis, walk the upper arms under your back, maybe interlace the fingers. Otherwise, for upward bow, place the hands alongside your ears. Keep your arms parallel, shoulders width apart, and lift to the top of your head. Then maybe press off from there. Take your last back bend of choice for 5 to 10 breaths. Bridge, Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, or upward facing bow, Urdhva Mukha, or Urdhva Dhanurasana. Ensure that you're pressing evenly through the insteps and the outer edges of your feet. And the thighs parallel for lower back safety. When you decide to lower, drop your knees together, keep your feet on the floor, perhaps slide the feet apart wider than hips distance, and rest a hand at your heart center, hand at your navel, pausing for at least 3 deep breaths. And either turn over to one side or rock forward to sit. And let's take our last twist, sitting down. Extending your left leg forward, step your right foot on the ground in front of your right hip. Backstroke your right hand behind your pelvis. Press your 2 hips down. Inhale, sit tall. Your shoulders relax, and exhale, twist to your right. More breaths. The option of hooking your left elbow outside of your right thigh. The end of this exhale, unwind your spine, drop your right knee open for twisting head to knee pose. Place the sole of your right foot high against your inner left thigh. Raise your right arm, flex your left foot, breathe in, lift up. Exhale, twist to your left, and then take hold of the outside of your right leg or foot. Ground to your right sitting bone. Inhale, stretch the top of your head towards the upper left corner of the room. Holding Haritha Janu Shirshasana, evolved head to knee pose. Pressing your hips down and firming your belly in, lead with your chest and inhale, slowly rise up. Slide your right leg straight, bend your left knee and step the foot in front of the hip. Backstroke your left hand to the floor behind your pelvis. Raise the right arm, breathe in, lengthen your spine. Breathe out, twist to your left. Hold on to your left leg. Or hook your elbow outside of it. The end of this exhale, unwind your spine and drop your left knee open. Bring the sole of your left foot high against your inner right thigh and raise your left arm. Flexing your right foot, press to your hips, lift to your crown. Exhale, twist to your right and press the left hand on the outside of your right leg, maybe catching hold of the outer foot. Root your left sitting bone down. And inhale, stretch your spine towards the upper right corner of your room. Exhaling as you fold. One more deep breath. Press the hips down, lead with your chest. Inhale to rise. Let's straighten both legs forward for Paschimottanasana. One more forward fold. Separating your feet hips distance. If you have a strap and want to use it, you can place it around the balls of your feet. Root your sitting bones down. And as you're flexing your feet, press the big toe mounds forward. There's a little internal rotation of the thighs to support the lower back. Inhale, lift the front and back of your spine. Drop the shoulders. Hug in the belly and exhale, lead with the chest as you fold from your hips, breath by breath. If you're not using a strap, you might be walking your hands down your legs, maybe clasping the big toes. As you press your hips down, inhale, lift up halfway, lift your heart, roll the shoulders back and down. Then firm in the belly and continue to bow with this little bit of a back bend, a little bit of lift in the heart. Paschimottanasana. Pressing through your hips, leading from your chest. Inhale to slowly rise up. Let's lower onto our backs. Give yourself a minute to either go right into Shavasana or to add any last cooling movement or pose before you do. Or happy baby.
As you arrive in your corpse pose, close your eyes, let your body be still, and release control of your breathing. Be here for a few minutes.
Resting a little longer where you are with eyes still closed. Feel into the state of your physical body. Notice the quality of your breath just as it is. And then sense how you feel mentally and emotionally. Noticing the effects of how you practiced yoga so far. Take your time as you begin to move your fingers and toes, starting with small parts of your body first. Graduating into a simple stretch, you might slowly turn over to your right side, resting your head on your arm. And as you feel ready, press your body up. Find a comfortable seat, maybe sitting on a pillow or a blanket, so that we can sit in stillness for the next 5 minutes. Observing whatever arises through the sensations in the body, feelings or emotions, thoughts that come and go. Choose an anchoring point, like the part of your body in which you notice your breath most easily. And as you let your breath flow naturally, anytime your attention follows a thought into a story in the past or future, as soon as you notice that happening, let it be your portal back to that anchoring point as many times as you need to return. Let's begin.
sitting with eyes closed if they are. Slowly expand your attention from your inner world to your physical body again, and to the space around your body, like the room you're sitting in. And gently join your palms at your heart. What's one thing you can genuinely appreciate right now? And as you cultivate the energy of gratitude, remember your intention that you set at the start of this practice. Maybe say it a couple more times mentally and feel it in existence. Then remember to whom or what you chose to dedicate this practice to. See them enjoying benefit. Now, is there any part of you that feels maybe a little more open? That we've opened up our physical body in different ways? We talked about the ripple effect at the start. Keep your eyes open as you move through the rest of your evening. Let's close with one chant of Om. Inhale deeply. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.